Welcome back to AVG Sports Media. As you know, last night we put a ribbon on basketball. The NBA season is now officially over, and the New York Knicks are your NBA champion. Now, before we get started, I want to say I think last night officially sealed the deal on the changing of the old guard. There'll never be another LeBron James championship. There'll never be another Kevin Durant championship. There'll never be another. Harden never won one. So I don't think Harden will win one. Westbrook never won one. I don't think Westbrook never will win one. Steph Curry will never win another championship. Who else kind of in that era snuck up and got him one? I'll just say it is a changing of the guard. Right now with the emergence of SGA, Victor Wembanyama, Jalen Brunson, and there's some other teams, OKC, I still think they're not OKC, Denver. I still think they're title contenders. I'm not going to say Joker's through winning championships because I still feel as a big they can build around him and actually make another playoff run. Luka, he's one of those superstars now that it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of his career advances, so to speak, because I don't think nobody had on their bingo card Jalen Brunson actually winning an NBA championship before Luka Doncic, especially when they first left. When Luka first left Dallas and teaming up with LeBron, I think some people kind of assumed it was an automatic that he'd be competing for championships and, for the next at least 3 or 4 years to come, whatever LeBron has left in the tank, especially with what the pieces Los Angeles had, around those guys to build on. Now, I will say injuries did play a huge part in them not making real playoff runs and not probably putting together the product on court that they wanted. But I still think on their roster, they had enough talent to compete. But I think teams are just better than them out there in the West. And it was clear to see as the playoffs started advancing, these teams are light years ahead of teams like the Lakers and some of the people that you all thought were kind of in that mix. Because I said while it was going on, even with a healthy Luka, who can he guard on some of these top Western teams? Now, he can, like the old songs say, drop and give him 50. He can drop 50 on them, but he might give up 50 to a role player that just got a hot night because, Luka like a cone drill. He's not gonna guard anybody, not to be a threat. So moving forward, it's gonna because LeBron only had so many years, and I see now some traffic that AR, and everybody knows that's coming when teams have, role players that play way out of their body, and I think AR really he one of them. But the market sometimes overpays you, they overvalue. And sometimes you're a product of a system. Now, I do say when AR is, left as the premier player or the scorer, he elevates his game. Now, will that be the case every night? If a defense is geared to stop him, get to see. But I like that white boy. He cold. But I think it's time now that we can have a serious conversation about Jalen Brunson and where he's at in the NBA hierarchy. I don't think there's no argument whatsoever that he's a number one guard. As you look around the landscape of the league, East and West, and compare what Jalen Brunson can do in crunch time, create his own shots, and still orchestrate for others at this point, at this stage right now, who's in place in the NBA, I don't think there's a better point guard. And I'm going to take it a step further. As a top player, position excluded, we're not even worried about position. I'm talking about Ant-Man. I'm talking about Victor. I'm talking about SGA. Because these are the names you've been hearing that have been ready to, been passed the torch of the league. Where does Jalen Brunson rank amongst them? Because right now, me personally, seeing what he's done in high pressure situations and seeing the way he carried this team, he had 45 points and the rest of the team had 49 of them last night. To me, that says a lot about what he can do at his size. And I know they like to, and I always pull for undersized athletes. I'm going to just be honest. But what he's done at his size and carrying a team that hadn't won a championship in decades, it's time to have that discussion. Can Jalen Brunson be the face of the league? And his next bag gonna be crazy. They're gonna have to back up the Brinks truck because it's gonna be crazy. But what he does at his height, the way he manipulates the offense, gets shots off, and I know they like to say sometimes he's a liability on defense, but he competes. As long as you have a guard or somebody undersized, or even like in Luka's case, even if you're not a premier defender, if you compete and at least not just a turnstile and letting people just walk to the goal or passing them off or stuff like that, I think you can be hit on the court. And we've seen evidence of that with Steph Curry. Steph Curry wasn't a lockdown defender at no point in his career, but he competed. And so as long as he held his position, stood your ground, so to speak, a couple seconds, and Draymond had to pick up and, on a switch or something like that, or he passed him off. That's how that offense works. But it's time to start considering Jalen Brunson as one of the premier players in the league, no doubt about it. I'm going to say top 3. And you can argue about where he at in that 3 at this point. Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. I will say this: I like that team. Their trajectory is up there. But here's the thing: same way like with AR, when you see guys like Harper, I think he was underused in this series. Castle, Vassell, the other little cat that always got his hair fresh set of braids. I couldn't pull for the Spurs just because he don't never have his edge up right. His edge up always ragged with a fresh set of braids. I hate that shit. So Johnson, I think that's his name, number 11. Cat can ball though. But as you see, when teams start winning, sometimes the best defense and the best way around some of those teams is, hey, grab some of those role player, those pieces, throw some bags at them, and just break up the chemistry. That's the best way sometimes. Sometimes you can't beat them, hey, break them up. So after this season, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to get bags through at them, who's going to stay in place. I don't know how contractually all of them are locked in for the next few years. Excuse me, but after the run they had, I do know other teams will show interest. We'll see them as probably more of a premier piece in their system versus what they played in the Spurs. But the Spurs, Knicks, OKC, those teams were some of the deepest teams in the NBA. And once you get towards the playoffs, it becomes a battle of attrition. When you get late into the season and you got all these games, 82 games played, and at this point now it's just all about who you got healthy, who you got expendable to you. The GMs, they deserve gold stars, all of them, because you've seen that at any given point, your top player, your best role player, you've seen Williams go out for OKC. But those teams were deep enough where they could overcome some of that. Now, sometimes you might not get over the hill, but at least you have enough pieces in place. Because I was seeing some cats come off the bench I had never seen take the court in OKC and put up numbers, were unguardable for 1 and 2 game stretches. And sometimes that's all you need. So it's going to be interesting to see how some of these teams move forward with contracts, health, and how the rest of some of the shelf life for these teams are going to transpire. But today, we got to give it up to the Knicks, man. Jalen Brunson. Right now, I think he top dog in the league. You can argue, when I say player-wise, you might can argue the position of where he's ranked. Point guard, I think is undeniable. He's number 1. But the Knicks have a hell of a player for years to come. And winning a championship with your dad, that's next level. And I noticed something real strange before I get off the Spurs, too. You see how quick, like I told you, I think people have greatness fatigue. You notice how quick some of the conversations start. Wemby wasn't as lovable as the playoffs advanced as he was at first. It started off with the elbow. He shot at Cat the bow. And I actually liked some of it because I feel like they were taking shots at him. We seen it with Shaq. We seen it with LeBron. We seen it with some of the other bigger players in the league. Or even Steph to a lesser degree. Some guys try to get physical with you and knock you off your game if they can't just guard you straight up and try to play a mental game with you. And I felt like they were, some of the fouls on Wemby was excessive, and he let them know, hey, I ain't going for it. So I respected him for that. But then the one with Brunson where he smushed him, and then there's another play, I forgot what it was. But I started seeing the conversation shift towards on Wemby. I will say that. But I will say that young man, his trajectory is through the roof. We'll see as his career advances how much those little dirty plays gonna kind of pop up, because I'm starting to hear people wonder now, is he just a dirty player? I don't feel like he deserves that jacket this early. I feel like some of his frustration sometimes was pressure bust pipes, man, being in that position for the first time in his life, and he wants it so bad. So I can't criticize a player when I see the real want in it that I see in Wemby. And he might have to go study with the monks a little bit more, man, a little more mental discipline, learn some more of that, channel some of that anger in. But I love the fire from that kid. I want to see more of it, as long as it's in with context of the game. I'll say that. But like I said, it's all about Brunson and the Knicks right now, man. Congratulations to the New York Knicks. Y'all broke the curse, and hopefully that sets up what will happen for my Cowboys. I'm saying it right now. The Knicks broke the curse. That's the precursor for that setting the tone for my Cowboys going into the football season. So that's all I got, man. Basketball season over. We're getting ready for football. How about them Cowboys? And salute the New York Knicks, man. Y'all did y'all thing. Jalen Brunson, go get that bag, cuz it's time for them to pay up. as they say in New York. Annie up. That's what's up, though, man. Y'all stay tuned. More AVG Sports Media. I appreciate all the comments, all the love, man. Every time, y'all jump in the comments, whether we agree or go at it. I love the engagement. I like to call them before they go. So y'all stay tuned. Whatever the next sport is, I'm locked in. And we'll jump in the comments. We'll argue or agree again. One.